Marie Curie, a pioneer in science. Marie Curie is one of the most famous scientists in history. She changed the world with her discoveries in science. Her work with radioactivity helped medicine, energy, and technology. She was also the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and she won it twice. Marie Curie was a brilliant and hardworking scientist. She loved learning and spent her life studying science. She believed that knowledge could help people and make the world a better place. Her discoveries were important for science and medicine. Today, many treatments for diseases like cancer use ideas from her research. During her time, it was not easy for women to work in science. Many universities did not accept female students. Many people thought women should not be scientists. But Marie Curie never gave up. She studied, worked hard, and proved that women could be great scientists too. She and her husband, Pierre Curie, worked together in their laboratory. They discovered new elements and studied their properties. Their work helped future scientists understand atoms and energy. Marie Curie continued her research even after her husband passed away. She became a professor and inspired many students. Her discoveries were dangerous because radioactivity can harm the body. At that time, people did not understand the risks. Marie Curie worked with radioactive materials without protection. This affected her health, but she never stopped working. Marie Curie's life was full of challenges, but she never gave up. She won the Nobel Prize in Physics and later the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. No other person had ever won Nobel Prizes in two different sciences before. Her work is still important today. Many hospitals use her discoveries to help patients. Scientists continue to study radioactivity, and her research is the foundation for modern physics and medicine. Marie Curie is a symbol of intelligence, hard work, and determination. She showed the world that science can change lives. Her story continues to inspire scientists, students, and people everywhere. Marie Curie's childhood and education. Marie Curie was born as Maria Skłodowska on November 7, 1867, in Warsaw, Poland. She grew up in a time when Poland was under Russian control, and life was difficult for many Polish people. Her family was educated but struggled financially. Her father, Władysław Skłodowski, was a teacher of mathematics and physics. Her mother, Bronisława Skłodowska, was the headmistress of a girls' school. Education was important in their household, and all the children were encouraged to study hard. From an early age, Marie showed a great love for learning. She was an excellent student and enjoyed subjects like mathematics and science. Her father had a collection of scientific equipment, which fascinated her. She spent hours exploring and learning about different scientific principles. Despite the challenges her family faced, including the early death of her mother due to tuberculosis, Marie remained dedicated to her studies. Education was not easy for girls in Poland at that time. The Russian authorities controlled the schools, and Polish culture and language were often suppressed. Women were not allowed to attend university in Poland, which made it difficult for Marie to continue her education. However, she was determined to learn. She attended a secret underground school known as the Flying University, where Polish students, especially women, could receive an education in their own language. This school provided lessons in science, literature, and philosophy, helping Marie develop her knowledge and skills. Marie dreamed of studying at a university, but she needed money to continue her education. She and her older sister, Bronisława, made a plan. Bronisława wanted to study medicine in Paris, and Marie agreed to work as a governess to support her financially. In return, Bronisława would later help Marie with her education. For several years, Marie worked as a governess for wealthy families in the countryside. She continued studying on her own, reading books on physics, chemistry, and mathematics whenever she had free time. In 1891, after years of hard work and saving money, Marie moved to Paris to study at the prestigious Sorbonne University. She changed her name from Maria to Marie, the French version of her name. Life in Paris was difficult at first. She had little money and lived in a small, cold apartment. She often had to survive on bread and tea, because she could not afford proper meals. Despite these hardships, she remained focused on her studies. At the Sorbonne, Marie studied physics and mathematics. She was one of the few women in her classes and had to prove herself in a male-dominated environment. She worked tirelessly, spending long hours in libraries and laboratories. Her dedication paid off, and in 1893 she earned her degree in physics, finishing first in her class. The following year, she earned a second degree in mathematics. Marie Curie's early life was filled with challenges, but she never gave up. Her passion for learning and her determination to succeed helped her overcome the difficulties she faced. Her education in Paris opened the door to her future scientific discoveries, but even before she became famous, she had already shown great strength and intelligence. Her journey from a young girl in Poland to a top student at the Sorbonne is a testament to her incredible willpower and love for science. I've written a detailed section about Marie Curie's childhood and education, focusing on her early life in Poland, her struggles as a woman in science, and her pursuit of higher education in France. Let me know if you'd like any modifications or additions. Marie Curie's childhood, education, and early scientific work. Marie Curie was born as Maria Skłodowska on November 7, 1867, in Warsaw, Poland. She grew up in a time when Poland was under Russian control, and life was difficult for many Polish people. Her family was educated but struggled financially. Her father, Władysław Skłodowski, was a teacher of mathematics and physics. Her mother, Bronisława Skłodowska, was the headmistress of a girls' school. Education was important in their household, and all the children were encouraged to study hard. From an early age, Marie showed a great love for learning. She was an excellent student and enjoyed subjects like mathematics and science. Her father had a collection of scientific equipment, which fascinated her. She spent hours exploring and learning about different scientific principles. Despite the challenges her family faced, including the early death of her mother due to tuberculosis, Marie remained dedicated to her studies. Education was not easy for girls in Poland at that time. The Russian authorities controlled the schools, and Polish culture and language were often suppressed. Women were not allowed to attend university in Poland, which made it difficult for Marie to continue her education. However, she was determined to learn. She attended a secret underground school known as the Flying University, where Polish students, especially women, could receive an education in their own language. This school provided lessons in science, literature, and philosophy, helping Marie develop her knowledge and skills. Marie dreamed of studying at a university, but she needed money to continue her education. She and her older sister, Bronisława, made a plan. Bronisława wanted to study medicine in Paris, and Marie agreed to work as a governess to support her financially. In return, Bronisława would later help Marie with her education. For several years, Marie worked as a governess for wealthy families in the countryside. She continued studying on her own, reading books on physics, chemistry, and mathematics whenever she had free time. Moved to Paris and studies at the Sorbonne. In 1891, after years of hard work and saving money, Marie moved to Paris to study at the prestigious Sorbonne University. She changed her name from Maria to Marie, the French version of her name. Life in Paris was difficult at first. She had little money and lived in a small, cold apartment. She often had to survive on bread and tea because she could not afford proper meals. Despite these hardships, she remained focused on her studies. At the Sorbonne, Marie studied physics and mathematics. She was one of the few women in her classes and had to prove herself in a male-dominated environment. She worked tirelessly, spending long hours in libraries and laboratories. Her dedication paid off, and in 1893 she earned her degree in physics, finishing first in her class. The following year, she earned a second degree in mathematics. Her time at the Sorbonne was intense, but she never wavered in her commitment to her education. Marie often studied late into the night, sometimes using candles because she could not afford electricity. She took detailed notes and performed experiments whenever she had access to a laboratory. She was fascinated by new scientific discoveries, particularly those in physics and chemistry. She admired scientists such as Henri Becquerel, who was researching mysterious rays emitted by uranium. This topic would later become central to her own research. Meeting Marie Curie and early scientific work. After completing her studies, Marie sought laboratory work. However, opportunities for women in science were extremely limited. Fortunately, she was introduced to Marie Curie, a respected physicist working in the field of magnetism. Pierre was known for his research on piezoelectricity and the Curie temperature in magnetism. He quickly recognized Marie's intelligence and passion for science. They shared a love for discovery, and their mutual respect soon grew into a strong partnership. In 1895, Marie and Pierre married. Their wedding was simple, and instead of a traditional wedding dress, Marie wore a dark blue outfit, which she later used as her laboratory clothing. Their marriage was built on intellectual companionship and a shared dedication to scientific research. Unlike many couples of their time, they viewed each other as equals and worked side by side in the laboratory. The couple began studying the mysterious energy emissions from certain materials, particularly uranium. Marie took inspiration from Henri Becquerel's discovery of radioactivity and decided to explore this phenomenon further. Pierre, who had been working on magnetism, shifted his focus to support Marie's research. They spent countless hours conducting experiments, testing materials, and measuring radiation levels. Their early research was challenging. They worked in difficult conditions, often in poorly ventilated and cramped spaces. They lacked proper funding and had to use outdated equipment. However, their determination kept them going. They systematically analyzed minerals, looking for substances that emitted strong radiation. Marie's methodical approach and Pierre's theoretical insights made them a perfect team. Marie's work was groundbreaking because she was the first to use the term radioactivity to describe the mysterious energy emissions. She carefully recorded her findings and observed patterns in the behavior of radioactive materials. The couple's dedication to their research soon led them to exciting new discoveries, though at this stage they did not yet fully understand the implications of their work. Despite their scientific progress, they faced many obstacles. At the time, women in science were often overlooked, and Marie had to work twice as hard to gain recognition. Some scientists doubted her abilities simply because she was a woman. However, Pierre believed in her completely and always credited her for her contributions. The Curie's research laid the foundation for future scientific advancements, but they remained humble about their work. They did not seek wealth or fame. They were driven purely by curiosity and a desire to understand the natural world. Their collaboration was based on a shared vision, and they often discussed scientific ideas at home as well as in the lab. Marie and Pierre's early years of research were filled with excitement, struggle, and determination. They continued refining their techniques and exploring the properties of radioactive materials. Though they did not yet realize it, their discoveries would eventually change the world. Their love for science and their unwavering dedication to discovery defined their partnership and set the stage for their future breakthroughs. Marie Curie's journey from a young girl in Poland to a top student at the Sorbonne and a dedicated researcher in Paris is a testament to her incredible willpower and love for science. Her early years in France were filled with struggles, but her intelligence and perseverance helped her overcome every obstacle. She proved that women could excel in science, despite the many barriers they faced. The path she carved in her early scientific work would lead to some of the most important discoveries in history, but at this stage, she was simply a determined young scientist eager to explore the mysteries of the natural world. Marie Curie's research on radioactivity. Marie Curie's research on radioactivity was one of the most important scientific achievements in history. She and her husband, Pierre Curie, worked together to study mysterious energy emissions from certain elements. Through their dedication and hard work, they discovered two new elements, polonium and radium. These discoveries changed the world of science and led to new fields of research. The study of radioactivity, Marie Curie became interested in radioactivity after learning about the work of Henri Becquerel. In 1896, Becquerel discovered that uranium emitted a strange energy that could pass through solid objects. This energy did not come from an external source like the sun or a chemical reaction. Instead, it came from the uranium itself. Marie Curie found this discovery fascinating and wanted to understand more about these mysterious rays. She decided to make radioactivity the focus of her research. At the time, no one knew what caused this energy. Scientists had never seen anything like it before. Marie believed that radioactivity was a property of certain elements and wanted to measure it carefully. She used a device called an electrometer, which her husband Pierre and his brother had developed earlier. This instrument helped her measure the strength of the radiation given off by different materials. Marie tested many substances to see if they emitted radiation like uranium. She soon discovered that thorium, another element, also gave off radiation. This confirmed her idea that radioactivity was a property of the element itself, and not something caused by external influences. Her work led to a better understanding of atomic structure, although at the time, scientists did not yet know about protons, neutrons, and electrons. The discovery of polonium. Marie and Pierre Curie wanted to find out if other elements were also radioactive. They tested a mineral called pitchblende, which contained uranium. To their surprise, pitchblende was much more radioactive than pure uranium. This meant that there was another unknown substance inside the mineral that was even more radioactive than uranium. The Curies began the difficult process of separating this new substance from pitchblende. This was a long and exhausting task. They had to grind, dissolve, filter, and analyze large amounts of pitchblende to isolate the unknown material. It took months of hard work in their small laboratory, but finally, in July 1898, they discovered a new element. Marie named it polonium, after her home country of Poland. She wanted to honor her homeland, which was not independent at the time. Polonium was unlike any other element scientists had studied before. It was extremely radioactive and gave off powerful energy. However, polonium was not the only new element in pitchblende. The Curies continued their research, convinced that there was still another unknown substance present in the mineral. The discovery of radium. After the discovery of polonium, Marie and Pierre Curie continued their work. They suspected that another radioactive element was hidden in pitchblende. The process of isolating this new element was even more difficult than before. They worked day and night, processing tons of pitchblende. Their laboratory conditions were tough. Marie often worked with boiling acids and heavy materials, while Pierre performed delicate experiments to measure radiation. Finally, in December 1898, they identified a second new element. They named it radium, from the Latin word radius, meaning ray, because it gave off strong rays of energy. Radium was much more radioactive than polonium or uranium. It glowed in the dark, and its radiation could pass through many materials. The discovery of radium was a major breakthrough in science. Marie and Pierre carefully studied radium to learn more about its properties. They found that it could emit heat and light without burning fuel. It also had the power to affect photographic plates, even when wrapped in black paper. This showed that radium's energy was much stronger than anything previously known. Scientists around the world were amazed by this new element and its unusual properties. The significance of their discoveries. The discovery of polonium and radium changed science forever. Before Marie Curie's work, scientists did not understand that atoms could release energy. Her research showed that some elements had internal energy that could be released as radiation. This idea was completely new and helped shape modern physics and chemistry. Marie's discoveries helped scientists understand the structure of the atom. Later, researchers found out that atoms have small particles inside them: protons, neutrons, and electrons. Radioactivity showed that atoms were not solid and unbreakable, as people had once believed. Instead, they could change over time and release energy. Radium became especially important because of its strong radiation. Scientists began using radium to study atomic energy, leading to important advances in medicine and physics. It was later used in cancer treatment, as radiation could destroy harmful cells. This was the beginning of radiation therapy, which is still used in medicine today. Marie Curie's research on radioactivity was groundbreaking. She discovered two new elements and helped create a new field of science. Her work laid the foundation for future discoveries about atomic energy and nuclear physics. Even though she did not know all the effects of radioactivity at the time, her findings changed the world forever. Marie Curie's Nobel Prizes and major scientific contributions. Marie Curie's groundbreaking work on radioactivity led to some of the most significant scientific achievements of the 20th century. She became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and later became the first person ever to win two Nobel Prizes in different fields. Her discoveries in physics and chemistry changed the way scientists understood matter and energy, and they had a lasting impact on medicine and physics. Winning the first Nobel Prize in Physics, 1903. Marie Curie's first major recognition came in 1903 when she, along with her husband Pierre Curie and physicist Henri Becquerel, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. This award recognized their work on radioactivity, a term that Marie herself had coined. Their research had proven that certain elements emitted powerful, invisible energy without any external influence. At first, the Nobel Committee had only intended to recognize Pierre Curie and Henri Becquerel. However, Pierre insisted that Marie's contributions were equally important, and that she should be included in the award. Thanks to his support, Marie became the first woman ever to receive a Nobel Prize. Winning the Nobel Prize was a huge achievement, but Marie and Pierre did not let it distract them from their work. They continued their research on radioactive elements, eager to learn more about their properties and potential applications. Unfortunately, Pierre Curie tragically passed away in 1906, leaving Marie to continue their work alone. The discovery of radium and the second Nobel Prize, 1911. After Pierre's death, Marie Curie dedicated herself even more to scientific discovery. She took over his teaching position at the University of Paris, becoming the first female professor at the institution. Her research focused on isolating pure radium and studying its chemical properties. In 1910, Marie succeeded in isolating radium as a pure metal. This was a significant breakthrough because, until then, radium had only been observed as part of complex chemical compounds. By extracting radium in its pure form, Marie was able to study its unique properties in greater detail. For this achievement, she was awarded the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. This made her the first person in history to win two Nobel Prizes, and the only person to win in two different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. The Nobel Committee recognized her for her discovery of radium and polonium, as well as her work in understanding radioactivity. The impact of her discoveries on medicine. One of the most important applications of Marie Curie's discoveries was in medicine. Radium's powerful radiation had the ability to destroy diseased cells, leading to the development of early radiation therapy for cancer treatment. This was one of the first times that radiation was used to directly improve human health. Doctors and scientists quickly saw the potential of using radium to treat tumors. This method, later known as radiotherapy, became an essential tool in the fight against cancer. Even today, radiation therapy remains a key treatment for many types of cancer, saving millions of lives worldwide. Marie Curie also played a role in bringing medical applications of radioactivity to the battlefield. During World War I, she developed mobile X-ray units, known as Little Curies. These units were used to help doctors diagnose injuries on the front lines. By using X-rays, medical teams could see inside a patient's body and locate broken bones or shrapnel without performing unnecessary surgery. This greatly improved medical care for wounded soldiers. The impact of her discoveries on physics. Marie Curie's work revolutionized the field of physics. Her studies on radioactivity helped scientists understand that atoms were not indivisible as previously thought. Instead, atoms contained smaller particles and had the ability to release energy. This laid the foundation for quantum physics and nuclear physics in the 20th century. Her research also contributed to the discovery of nuclear fission, which later became the basis for nuclear energy. Although Marie Curie never worked on nuclear reactors or atomic bombs, her findings played a crucial role in the development of these technologies. Scientists built upon her discoveries to harness atomic energy, leading to both peaceful and military applications. A scientific pioneer, Marie Curie's Nobel Prizes and scientific contributions changed the world. She proved that women could excel in science at the highest levels and paved the way for future generations of female scientists. Her discoveries in radioactivity opened new doors in medicine and physics, leading to advancements that continue to benefit humanity today. Despite the recognition and honors she received, Marie Curie remained humble and dedicated to science. She never sought personal wealth from her discoveries and refused to patent radium, believing that scientific knowledge should be shared freely for the benefit of all. Her relentless pursuit of knowledge and her groundbreaking achievements ensured that she would be remembered as one of the greatest scientists in history. Marie Curie's final years and dedication to science. In her later years, Marie Curie remained deeply committed to scientific research. Despite her growing health problems, she continued to work in the laboratory, teach students, and promote the use of radioactivity in medicine. Her final years were marked by both great achievements and significant physical suffering, as the effects of prolonged radiation exposure became more apparent. Continuing research and scientific dedication. Even after winning 2 Nobel Prizes, Marie Curie never stopped her scientific work. She continued her studies on radioactive elements and explored new applications for radioactivity. Her main focus was on refining techniques for isolating radium and understanding its properties better. She also worked on establishing standard measurements for radioactive substances, which were crucial for scientific and medical advancements. In 1914, the Radium Institute, now the Curie Institute, in Paris was established, thanks to her efforts. This research center became one of the world's leading institutions for studying radioactivity and its medical uses. Marie Curie directed the institute, training a new generation of scientists. She was especially dedicated to supporting young researchers, including many women who followed in her footsteps. Contributions. During World War I. When World War I broke out in 1914, Marie Curie saw an urgent need for medical innovation. She recognized that X-ray technology could help battlefield doctors treat wounded soldiers more effectively. Without hesitation, she put her scientific knowledge to practical use. Marie Curie developed mobile X-ray units, which were transported to the front lines to assist military doctors. These units, known as little Curies, allowed physicians to locate bullets, broken bones, and shrapnel inside injured soldiers without invasive surgery. This innovation greatly improved medical care on the battlefield and saved countless lives. To ensure the success of this project, Marie Curie personally trained doctors and nurses on how to use X-ray machines. She even drove one of the mobile units herself to war zones, working directly with medical teams. Her daughter, Irene Curie, also joined her in this effort, learning valuable skills that would later shape her own scientific career. Marie Curie's work during the war was physically exhausting and carried great risks. She spent long hours in unsafe conditions, often exposed to radiation without protection. Despite the dangers, she never hesitated to continue her mission, believing that science should serve humanity. The health effects of radiation exposure. Unbeknownst to Marie Curie at the time, prolonged exposure to radiation was slowly damaging her health. She had spent decades handling radioactive materials without any protective measures, as the harmful effects of radiation were not yet fully understood. By the 1920s, her health began to decline noticeably. She suffered from severe fatigue, vision problems, and chronic pain. Her hands, which had been directly exposed to radioactive substances for years, showed signs of tissue damage. Despite these symptoms, she continued to work, refusing to let her declining health stop her scientific research. Doctors eventually diagnosed her with aplastic anemia, a rare and serious blood disorder. This condition is now known to be caused by prolonged radiation exposure. Unfortunately, at the time, there was no effective treatment for her illness. Her final years. As her health continued to deteriorate, Marie Curie struggled to maintain her active role in the scientific community. She reduced her time in the laboratory, but remained involved in research and education. She also worked tirelessly to secure funding for scientific institutions, ensuring that future generations of researchers would have the resources they needed. In 1934, Marie Curie traveled to a sanatorium in Saint-Célimos, France, hoping that rest would improve her condition. However, her illness had progressed too far. On July 4, 1934, she passed away at the age of 66. Marie Curie's dedication to science never wavered, even in the face of great personal suffering. Her relentless pursuit of knowledge and her willingness to sacrifice for the greater good made her one of the most remarkable scientists in history. Marie Curie's legacy in science. Marie Curie's discoveries in radioactivity have had a profound and lasting impact on the fields of physics, chemistry, and medicine. Her work not only revolutionized the way scientists understood matter and energy, but also set the stage for future innovations in nuclear science and medical treatments. Through her dedication and groundbreaking achievements, Curie inspired future generations of scientists, particularly women, and paved the way for their success in fields that were once closed to them. Impact on modern physics and chemistry. Marie Curie's research on radioactivity was fundamental to the development of modern physics and chemistry. Her work on the radioactive elements polonium and radium showed that atoms could change and release energy in ways scientists had never imagined. This discovery altered the existing theories about the structure of atoms, challenging the belief that atoms were stable, indivisible units. Curie's contributions laid the foundation for nuclear physics, a field that has since produced major discoveries about atomic energy and subatomic particles. Her work influenced later physicists, such as Ernest Rutherford and Niels Bohr, who expanded on her findings to develop the theory of atomic structure. Without Curie's pioneering work, the development of nuclear science would have been delayed. In chemistry, Curie's research also pushed the boundaries of the field. Her successful isolation of radium in its pure form allowed scientists to study its chemical properties in detail. This discovery marked the beginning of a new era in chemistry, where radioactive elements became subjects of further investigation. Over time, radium and other radioactive elements found applications in various fields, from industrial processes to scientific research. Influence on medicine. Perhaps the most immediate and lasting impact of Marie Curie's discoveries was in the field of medicine. Her work with radioactive materials led to the development of radiotherapy, a technique used to treat cancer. When Curie first discovered the power of radium's radiation, it was recognized for its potential to target and destroy harmful cells, including cancer cells. Her work directly influenced the use of radiation therapy, which is now a cornerstone of cancer treatment worldwide. Radiation therapy continues to save countless lives today. The methods that Curie helped establish laid the groundwork for later advancements in medical treatments that utilize radiation, including chemotherapy and targeted therapies. The application of radiation to fight cancer would not have been possible without Curie's contributions. Additionally, during World War I, Curie's development of mobile X-ray units helped revolutionize battlefield medicine. These portable machines allowed doctors to quickly diagnose injuries without the need for invasive surgery. This technology saved lives on the front lines and demonstrated the life-saving power of science in practical settings. Inspiration for future generations of scientists. Marie Curie's achievements opened doors for future generations of scientists, particularly women. At a time when women were largely excluded from scientific education and research, Curie became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Her work proved that women were just as capable of conducting important and groundbreaking scientific research as men. This was an essential step in the long struggle for gender equality in science. Curie's success as a scientist inspired many young women to pursue careers in physics, chemistry, and other STEM fields. Her legacy continues to encourage women to break barriers and challenge stereotypes in the sciences. Many women today, including Nobel laureates and leading researchers, cite Marie Curie as one of their greatest inspirations. In addition to her role as a trailblazer for women in science, Curie's commitment to education and mentoring also influenced future generations. She was instrumental in founding the Radium Institute, which became a leading center for research on radioactivity. Through her efforts, she helped train many scientists, both men and women, who went on to make their own contributions to science.